morning, everyone. Cleo, come say good morning. Good morning, friends. Hello. Okay, bye. So today I'm going to take you guys through a full what I eat in a day on a very, very average day. And also I want to walk you guys through the process of me slowly getting back into exercise because I recently injured myself, which we can talk about after I make breakfast because I'm hungry. But basically injured myself, haven't exercised in almost 2 weeks now. I think I'm at the point where I can start doing something intentionally, so we'll talk about that. But first, I want to go get my day started. So I decided I don't want to start my day today with an iced mocha. I know. Who am I? Why am I not going to the coffee shop? But figured I would dabble in something in my supplement cabinet. I want to just have a little something that's gonna boost like brain power, focus, all of that good stuff. So my go-tos for that are usually either the Neurofuel from Natural Stacks, the Be Smart Brain Fuel from Beekeepers Naturals, or the Organifi Pure. Honestly, I could do with like actually drinking something right now because I'm kind of thirsty. So I think I'll make one of these. Now that I'm getting hydrated, the brain power is turning on. Today is the day, my friends. Today is the day that I finally use my almond cow that I got for Christmas forever ago to make some nut milk. Technically, cashew coconut milk. Cocoa cashew? Cocoa cashew milk? I have no idea how this is gonna go. I've never done this before, obviously. So I'm taking you guys along with me as I read the instructions and figure out exactly what I'm doing. Okay, we have a thing. Assuming this comes off. Open. Get it. That looks sharp. Just realized these cashews that I was planning on using are salted. The recipe that I'm following calls for salt, so hopefully they're not that salty. Oh my god, they're so good. Okay. I think I want to do mostly cashews because yum. Just gonna sprinkle in some coconut shreds. Cool. Now we attach. Kind of just shove it in there. Sure. This is not how I hope to spend my morning. Guess who just discovered that she does not have a broom in the house anymore. Apparently when my old roommate left, he took his broom with him. So.
Just clean that off the floor with my hand.
It's fine. Take two. I'm gonna try not to waste a ton of cashews this time. I'm gonna do this over a counter now. I just need water. I kind of want to make this a tad sweet, slash the recipe says do this anyway. So I'm gonna add a little bit of maple syrup. You ready? You ready? Okay. I think we have cashew coconut milk. This is gonna be really exciting. I'm really excited. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Smells like cashews. I wonder why. I am absolutely forever and always making my own nut milk from now on. This is really good. Like I can literally just drink this. I'm very happy. Alrighty, now it's finally breakfast time. I prepped my chocolate frosty smoothie bowl, vegetable steamed frozen base cubes last night. I basically steamed and then blended sweet potato, zucchini, and cauliflower with a whole can of coconut milk and goat yogurt and then froze them into cubes. So I'm gonna be using that. As always, a recipe for this smoothie bowl is on my website, but I'm hungry, so let's do this. We're gonna start with the delicious new milk that I have. Get a little of that in there. That should be enough, hopefully. Need some protein. My current go-to is the Organifi chocolate. Gonna throw in a good amount of maca. Not gonna lie, my hormones have been kind of mad at me in the last couple of weeks. It's because I went through like a prolonged period of very intense stress. It's like 3 to 4 weeks of feeling like I was constantly having a heart attack / anxiety attack. So that has taken its toll on my hormones. So I'm doing what I can to like be gentle with myself and support my hormones. So maca is a must today. I'm gonna throw in a bunch of cacao as well. And by my hormones being mad at me, I just mean my skin has been a little bit iffy, got a little bit of acne, which is fun because I don't usually deal with that. And then my cycle, last cycle, was not optimal. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't optimal. There's nothing like super crazy going on with my body, just enough to tell me that I need to kind of dial things in for a bit. Also, BT Dove's been absolutely loving putting the cacao superfood honey in here lately from Beekeeper's Naturals. So good. Not only is it sweet, it adds more chocolate flavor, which is amazing. Back to the hormone discussion. Just FYI, your menstrual cycle is a monthly report card on how your body's doing. If you have basically any negative symptom around your cycle, like associated with your hormones, that's a sign that things could be more imbalanced. While PMS is common, it is not normal. It's a sign that something is wrong. So if you have any sort of hormonal issues, like even if it's just like light cramping around your period, I'm gonna put my top book recommendations on the screen. I recommend you read absolutely all of them and implement all of the tips. And here we have the famous veggie cubes. My favorite way to get in lots of veggies, lots of fiber, lots of micronutrients, and essentially what tastes like chocolate ice cream. So I got these cookies yesterday and ate almost all of them for dessert. We're gonna have more for breakfast. This is glorious. Some cacao nibs, a light sprinkling of hemp seeds, and just a dab of coconut. Can we appreciate this glorious creation? This delicious, thick chocolate frosty smoothie bowl. Heck yeah. It's actually been like 2 or 3 weeks since I've made my chocolate frosty smoothie bowl. You guys have no idea how excited I am to get to eat this. Oh my goodness. Again, recipes on my website. If you guys make this, tag me on Instagram stories. So in finding motivation to clean up the mess that was all over the floor, I've found motivation to just vacuum the whole house. So now I'm on just a cleaning spree. Got myself a little kombucha to sip on as I vacuum. Oh my goodness, where has the time gone? This day is like almost over, but I am out for a walk, which is the most exercise I have done in the last almost 2 weeks. So I injured my knee attempting to surf. I went surfing a couple weeks before and it was all good. I like stood up a couple times. I was feeling relatively confident. And then I went surfing with my roommate the other day and a wave just like launched me into her board, launched her board into me. Basically had like severe blunt force trauma to my knee. Thankfully it wasn't like anything tore or like I tweaked anything or anything like that. It was just straight up just slammed into my knee. So there was just so much swelling, so much swelling. No like sharp pain, but my knee was just not doing great. Took a while to be able to bend it comfortably, and today is the first day that I can fully bend my knee without it feeling like my kneecap is like floating because there was so much inflammation like in my knee that it felt like my kneecap was just kind of like not perfectly attached, but it's not popping anymore. It doesn't feel like it's floating anymore. I feel like my knee is functional, but there's still quite a bit of bruising. Like it hurts to kneel on my knee and it still feels not 100% to bend it all the way. So as soon as I hurt my knee, I stopped exercising because that just would have been a really bad idea. And in the last couple days, I've gone for like some short walks. Like I've hobbled to get coffee in the morning, but I have basically been super sedentary, which is actually another reason that my appetite might be significantly lower than it normally is today, is because I have basically been sedentary for the last 2 weeks. So my hunger has definitely decreased. As soon as I got injured, I immediately stopped exercising, and I've been eating intuitively anyway, so I just let my hunger guide me as far as what I should eat. And I will admit there was a brief moment where I had the fleeting thought of, oh my god, I'm gonna stop exercising, I'm gonna gain weight. And then I was like, wait, I trust my body. I know that my body is going to just downregulate my hunger naturally to match my energy output. For me, that's kind of where my thoughts end when it comes to injury or sickness or anything else that might take my focus away from fitness. I just think, okay, like, we're gonna shift gears, focus on what we need to focus on to get healthy, and then we can get back into it when we get back into it. And that's kind of where I leave it. A lot of people get very caught up in the fear or the guilt of not being able to work out for like 1 or 2 weeks, or not being sure what to do with their nutrition when their activity changes drastically. And the thing is, the fear and the guilt don't serve you in any capacity. Like if you're injured and can't work out, there's no reason to let yourself feel those negative emotions because they aren't going to help you get any better any faster. The best thing to do for your body in that scenario, if you're injured or sick, is to rest so that you can recover as quickly as possible. And doing anything else, like trying to force yourself to work out when your body isn't ready for that, is just gonna make that healing process take longer and actually set you back even further. If I know that taking a step back from exercise is what is best for my body in the moment, there's zero guilt around that because I am driven by health. If I get sick or injured or have a ton of stress going on to where it's negatively impacting my body, or I just have something going on that forces me to take a step back from exercise, I feel zero guilt about that because I know that's what I should do for my health and for my body, and trying to work against that is going to be counterproductive. This is why I always advocate approaching fitness from the health perspective rather than the aesthetic perspective, because if your only goal with fitness is aesthetics, then yeah, it can be scary because you're not thinking, well, if I optimize my health, my aesthetics will fall into line. You're just thinking, oh my God, if I take 2 weeks off from the gym, I'm gonna gain a ton of fat, which if you've set up your body properly, you should not gain any amount of fat if you just take 2 weeks off from the gym. Like, it really shouldn't impact anything, and I feel like I should have stressed that at the beginning. But like 2 weeks off from exercise, if you're otherwise healthy, if you have a healthy metabolic rate, it's not gonna do anything to you. Like, you're not gonna lose any progress. And you don't have to be sick or injured or whatever to take 2 weeks off from the gym. Like, you're allowed to do that whenever you want to. Fitness should feel good, and if you are not feeling good going to the gym as frequently as you are, or if you know you're gonna feel better taking a week or two off from the gym, do that. So, since today is the first day that my knee is feeling like 90-95% normal, I think I'm gonna dabble in a little bit of other movement. I'm not entirely sure what. My knee felt good walking, but I don't wanna load it through its end range of motion because it still feels a little bit weird when it's bent all the way, so I don't wanna do like weighted squats or anything like that. And I feel like usually my go-to coming back to exercise after like a week or two off would be like, do 30 minutes of yoga the first day and then ramp it up the next day and then get back to lifting the next day. But yoga kind of pushes end range of motion with the knee too. Maybe, here's what I can do. I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 sets of like 3 exercises, super light, maybe 2 upper body exercises and 1 lower body exercise. And that does bring up the question, Marissa, you hurt your knee, why couldn't you train upper body the last 2 weeks? Well, truth is, I was just lazy and I didn't feel like doing it. So I didn't.
Rising up like phoenixes, been tired of pushed down the ground.
Thankfully, that movement felt really good. No pain in my knee whatsoever. Amazing. I'm just staying outside because I'm letting Cleo have some frolic time. She's somewhere back there. But while I'm out here, I wanted to sit down and have a little chit chat. And this is not a pre-planned chit chat, so apologies in advance if this is just a bunch of like disjointed ideas and thoughts, but I wanted to talk about whether or not I like my body and what that really means. And I gave you guys the opportunity to ask questions about my relationship with my body on Instagram. So I'm gonna like kind of draw from your guys' questions as well. But I was looking at myself in the mirror the other day and I realized that I'm very happy with my physique. I think this is like one of the best physiques that I've had, in the sense that it's one of the physiques that I've had that I have been most excited to look in the mirror and see. So when I look in the mirror, I do like how I look, but I think this idea is often conflated with liking your body or loving your body. And in my opinion, how you feel about how you look should have very, very little to do with whether or not you like your body. And I think for me, a big part of it is the separation of the external aesthetic from the internal feeling of love that I have for my body. And knowing that what my body does for me and what my body is like so much more than how it looks. And understanding that any deep, meaningful, loving relationship, whether with your body or with a partner, has very little to do with how the thing that you have a relationship with looks. And I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but it's like being in a relationship with a partner and you love them to the core of their being. Like, you love them for who they are. And if they were to suddenly gain 50 pounds or grow a crusty mustache that you hate, you're not gonna love them as a person any less. You are going to love them just as deeply as you always have. So your relationship with your body needs to be just as deep and strong as your relationship with a partner. If you let your decisions in your health and fitness journey be guided by how you're feeling about how you look, you can be very, very misguided in a lot of your decisions. Oftentimes, this is shown as people crash dieting instead of like reverse dieting when their metabolism's already tanked and they really need to reverse diet. But the idea of staying in their current body any longer is so horrifying that they don't do what they need to do to ultimately get where they want to be. And I think it is important to mention in the context of this discussion that I've never been significantly overweight. I was a lot bigger than a lot of my friends in middle school, but I wasn't like significantly overweight by any means. I was just like 2 or 3 sizes bigger. And I definitely at that point was a little bit, I don't want to say ashamed of my body, but I was very self-conscious of the fact that I was bigger than my friends. But sometime during high school that weight kind of naturally came off. However, I did go through topical steroid withdrawal, which destroyed my body. It did actually make me gain like 10 to 12 pounds near the end, but during that process, I basically maintained my physique, but my body turned red and splotchy and flaky and swollen, and I looked like a monster. Like, people would stare at me as I was walking down the street, like looking at me like, is this girl okay? And so I have dealt with coming to terms with my body not looking like the standard of beauty. And I definitely learned so much about self-love and body love when I went through that process, because before that I found love for my body in my strength and like my ability to like do a bunch of pull-ups and like how strong I was in the gym and like how good it felt to exercise. Like, I was like, I appreciate my body for what it can do physically. And then suddenly I couldn't even do things physically. I couldn't work out. I had no strength. I was like bedridden. And so it was going through that process that forced me to dig a lot deeper and find a deeper love for my body, which I found in realizing that my body is my best friend and it is always going to be on my team. It's always going to be fighting for me no matter what. And there's really nothing that can take that away. And I think that's when I really developed that deep, strong relationship like you would with a significant other or with a best friend or something, where I recognize like my body is my number one. Like, it is here for me no matter what, and so I need to be here for it no matter what as well. And so I'm confident in the fact that if I were to gain 50 pounds, I wouldn't love my body any less, because my love for my body is not tied to how it looks. So the question of do I like my body feels very trite, because how I look is kind of irrelevant to the depth of feeling and love that I have for my body. So I got a question: how do you love your body when it's far from the ideal body type, when you're still fat? That is kind of my answer, is the love needs to go a lot deeper than how you look. Like, find that love somewhere else. How do you get out of a bad body image day? This is a good question, because I feel like I do sometimes still look at myself in the mirror and go, ooh, like, that's not looking quite like I like it to. But I'm kind of at the point where that's where my brain leaves it. Like, I'm like, that's not looking quite like I like it to. And then I just move on with my life and make sure that I don't like look at myself in the mirror every couple seconds and beat myself up, because if I look at myself and I'm like, okay, like, I'm looking bloated today, maybe like it's a couple days before my period and I'm retaining some water and I'm a little bit fluffier, like, nothing that I do in the moment, okay, it's getting dark, so I'm moving. Nothing that I do in the moment is going to have a permanent, long-lasting change on my body, because that thing that I see in my body is not a permanent, long-lasting negative change anyway. Like, if I'm just like a little bit bloated, retaining a little bit of water, that's not like a change that's going to be permanent. And so there's nothing that I personally need to do or can do to change that fact permanently, because it's not permanent anyway. So if I have a negative reaction to my body on any given day, I kind of just move on. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, and there's a lot of work to get from the point of feeling that and having a negative reaction all day to getting to the point where you can see it and just move on, but that is where I currently am with that. Do you feel betrayed by your body when you're sick or injured? I usually do. This is like a good question, but also a very sad question. I don't feel betrayed by my body because I know that my body is always working for me. Like if I get sick, it's not my body's fault. I encountered a virus and the virus or bacteria made it into my body, and now my body is doing everything that it can to get me healthy again. Likewise, if I'm injured, you know, I slam my knee into a surfboard and it's super inflamed. Like the inflammation is my body trying to help me. It's my fault I put myself in that situation. Ooh, this is kind of a good follow-up question to the question before the question. Did you lose trust in your body throughout your topical steroid withdrawal journey? How did you repair it? No, I gained so much more trust in my body through that because it wasn't my body's fault that I went through it, it was the medication's fault. So I lost a lot of trust in other things, but not my body. My body it was absolutely fighting as hard as it could for me, and I could feel that every single day, and it was that actually kept me staying positive throughout the whole thing. Okay, last question, and then I feel like I've been rambling for quite a while and it's getting quite dark. Have you ever had an eating disorder? No, I have not, but there was one time that I was tempted into being close to an eating disorder, and this was way before I started my fitness journey, way before I knew like anything about nutrition. This isn't a long story, but I almost feel like it deserves its whole video, but maybe I'll circle back and talk about this again if you guys have questions. But when I got my first boyfriend at 19, I was very, very excited. You know, you get those happy chemicals in your body, and those happy chemicals suppress appetite. A couple weeks into dating him, I realized that the excitement that I felt was suppressing my appetite. In the back of my head, I was like, I can use this to my advantage and use it to lose a little weight. And so over the course of like a couple weeks, I progressively started eating less and less and less. And it got to the point where one day I met up with him for dinner. I ordered 2 Health Mex chicken tacos from Rubio's, which are like the low calorie tacos. And that was all I'd eaten that day. And we were hanging out later, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm on the path to developing an eating disorder. This does not feel good. And I felt that temptation to keep going down that path. I get a lot of questions from people about how I'm able to kind of empathize with that so well, and it's because I think I was like on the edge of going down that path, and I felt the pull towards it. It's hard to put into words, but for any of you that have experienced it, I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say. It was like weirdly rewarding to get to the end of the day and be like, ooh, I ate even less today, like good job. And then I would do that the next day, good job. Like there was that positive reward that was kind of like driving me towards that. And I also was losing weight, and I was like, oh, I look better too, like this is fantastic. But thankfully it only took, I think it was like max 3 weeks that I was like starting to go down this path. And as soon as I got to that day where I realized like I haven't eaten and I just intentionally ordered something that I know was super low calorie, like this is not good. So I talked to my boyfriend about it at the time, and he was like, yeah, not so good. Let's do something about this. And after having that conversation, I was like aware of what was happening, and he helped encourage me to eat more, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll eat more. And so within like a week, I was out of it. And I'm really thankful that I was as self-aware as I was in that situation to see what was happening and kind of feel what was happening, and had the strength to pull myself out of it, because it did kind of feel like I was like heaving myself out of this hole that would have been really, really, really easy to just sink into, the hole being an eating disorder. It was like quicksand, and it snuck up on me a lot faster than I think I realized that it could, and that was the scary part. So yeah, I've never had an eating disorder. I had like a 2 or 3 week spell of spiraling down into one, but then quickly realizing what was happening and getting myself the heck out of there. Anywho, that's my story. If you have any questions about any of what I just said, or comments to spark discussion, please leave them down below. I would love to continue this conversation if it would be helpful for any of you. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go make some dinner. So for dinner, I'm making taco bowls. I got some rice cooking up in here with some butter in it. New favorite way to cook rice. A little bit of salt, a little bit of butter, white rice. It's amazing. Gonna use this ground chicken for the bowls, and it's the ancestral blend, so it has liver, heart, skin, and gizzard in it. So all of the good nutrients. I'm tossing a little bit of taco seasoning, and by a little bit, I mean like pretty much as I can physically fit in there without it being ridiculous. And some black beans, gonna cut up some lettuce. I was gonna do some roasted veggies, but honestly, I'm feeling super lazy. So we're literally just gonna have rice, beans, chicken, lettuce, onion. I should do some red onion. Ooh, I think I have chips. I do. I literally have like a handful of crumbs left, so I'm just gonna, perfect. I don't have cheese, but I have cashew cheese, so I'm just gonna like plop some in there, mix that around. Clearly winging it. So I'm currently doing a post Better Call Saul Breaking Bad rewatch, so I'm about to sit down, eat my dinner, watch a little Breaking Bad. I'm gonna try to drink this entire bottle of coconut water today. We'll see. I'm gonna try to at least get through half, but gotta stay hydrated. All right, but actually though, how good does this look? I feel like it turned out absolutely amazing. Alrighty, made it through significantly more Breaking Bad, enjoyed my dinner, had the rest of the cookies that were in the box for dessert. So yes, I ate the entire box of cookies in approximately 36 hours. Do I feel guilty? Not in the slightest. I'm mostly sad that there's not more. Now I'm finishing off the night with a little Ned Mellow Magnesium. Last time I tested, I was deficient in magnesium, so I do see quite a bit of benefit in supplementing with it. I did end up finishing that whole bottle of coconut water, and as this is the last thing that I'm going to be consuming today, I think I will leave the video here. I hope this video was helpful and insightful for you guys. If you want to see more content like this, or like have questions or things you want me to expand on, let me know down in the comments. If you guys liked the video, please do be sure you give it a big thumbs up. It really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more content from me all about health and fitness, you can check it out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I will see you very soon. Good night.